Do you think you can?
I have to change it.
But you just press enter.
Yeah.
All right, we'll start in 2 minutes. Almost there. Awesome. Hi, everyone. Can everybody hear me and see me? This is what I ask in Zoom. So I'm so used to talking on Zoom now that, like you unmute. Can you all see me? Please raise your hand virtually. If you have any questions, please leave a question in the chat and we'll come back to you never. All right, awesome. So we had a really good start of the session. Two founders came in talking about their journeys. The interesting thing about them is that they were going from seed to Series A, and from Series A to further. I represent a company called traversaal.ai. We are doing a hackathon over here today also. We are bootstrapped, and we have a very interesting journey also. But I'm here to talk less about that journey and more about my background and actually how Gen AI, large language models, are shaping up the future and what we are seeing as trends when we are working with our customers and what they're asking for. So, and I'm joined here today with three people. Number one is Darshal. He is our engineer. I hired him from school, from college. I actually went to teach at his university. He topped the class. Naturally, we had to hire him. We have Sirish. Sirish is one of my customers, and we have been working together for 6, 7 months now, and we've become good friends. So we decided to hang out. And then I have my advisor here also, Mustafa here. He and I met at Google. He was way too senior for me to meet at Google, but we somehow met each other, and he has been a great advisor helping me build my company. So I've just brought them all just to show you that you can be a founder who's bootstrapped and still have your own community. And community comes through people you have worked with, people you have taught, people who you sell to, and try to keep selling them over and over again. Right? All right. So a bit of my background. Again, my name is Hamza. I run a company called traversaal.ai. What we do something very simple. We give infra as a service for companies to build Gen AI products. What that means is, let's say, let's say you decide to run a Copilot. You want to launch a Copilot, or you want to change the search within your own organization. We are the company that will provide you pretty much everything. You just have to put a label in front of it that says it's yours. Everything else behind the scenes is done by us. So we basically create the infrastructure for you. We connect with the data, and we are between being a SaaS product and being a consulting service. It's very interesting in the world of Gen AI. Every time you think that you've built the right product, a week later somebody launches a new LLM. Somebody launches a new API, and then you have to do all over again. So that's why we say that we are half consulting and half SaaS company, because everything that we built 3 months ago is pretty much obsolete. All right. I was previously at Google and Walmart Labs, and I have a lot of experience in building large-scale systems. My claim to fame in Walmart was, does anybody remember that when you used to buy a pink iPhone, you get recommended a blue iPhone? That was the thing in, I don't know, 2016, whenever iPhone came out. We were the team that figured out how to not recommend you that thing and just recommend you a phone cover or buy a charger. So that is my background at Walmart. I also teach at Stanford and UCLA, and I was previously at University of Minnesota. I was teaching over there also. All right, so why are we here today? We're here because number one, ChatGPT came out a year ago, and we started using ChatGPT in almost just about every possible manner, right? Like, I was. It's funny that I gave in January 2023, I gave a assignment. It was a midterm, and it was an open book coding exercise. So what did everybody do? Open up ChatGPT and started putting the question. I had done that already. So they would get an answer that was older version of Python. So guess what happened? They spent more time debugging the code that came out of ChatGPT than actually writing the code. The only person who actually wrote the right code without looking at ChatGPT was this guy right here, because I was walking around the class and he was like, "Why is everybody taking so long?" And all you had to do was look at the code files that I've previously given, and you would figure out that this was the solution, to the problem that I've given. But we were so stuck. People were so stuck on ChatGPT. The second part is, we've been writing everything. Like almost all of a sudden, all our LinkedIn posts have gotten so good, right? All our Instagram posts, all our Twitter posts, like they've got emojis in them. Like we've been using ChatGPT like insane. And then the third one, the most important, every AI startup is a LLM Gen AI startup, and so are we. But yes, we are. But there's so many wrapper companies, there's so many different kind of companies, but you have to understand that ChatGPT has changed the way we interact. ChatGPT has changed the way we use our day-to-day systems, and we keep thinking how this is going to change. So the first change it's going to do is, what ChatGPT is actually changing, it's the way you do complex conversations. The complex search. So over here, let's say you're looking at this example. Find me a stylish Nike blue T-shirt, specially designed for golf with a comfortable fit and moisture wicking fabric in size medium and at a reasonable price point. I'm never going to type this much, but I will say this much, because this is what you do when you go to a store and you meet a sales associate. This is what you would say. And if anybody remembers shopping at Nordstrom, you would know that Nordstrom had one of the best sales associate, because they would come to you and you would converse with them, and they would actually sell you the right product, and you would not buy just a shirt. You'll buy a jeans and a top and a shirt, like a bunch of things. So we are trying to recreate that scenario, and that is the power of large language models. They're changing the way we interact with systems. So it's going to not just change the architect. Oh, I'm going to be I'm going to use a machine, and we're going to be great engineers. It is going to affect three places. It is affecting how you build your UX. The better the UX, the user is able to relate to it. And once the user is able to relate to it, you're able to create a better user journey. Number two, you're gonna have business sit in and have a conversation that, what do we want to build actually? What is the ROI? What is the business problem you're going to solve? And the third part is, what is the technology team going to do to build that for you? Right now, what's happening is, technology team starts with some hackathon, and everybody's like, oh, this is not scalable, and they shut it down, or they decided, oh, this is just a very simple one. Because what we don't have is business coming in and saying, oh, we want to build a product. So I'm going to show you an example of a product. Can you open so this TripAdvisor over here, if you escape out and just go to the first one, the first tab. So let's say this is a new UI that TripAdvisor has introduced. So when you click on start a trip with AI, you will search like a city like London. So let's say we select London, and we're gonna say we're gonna go from any random number of days, from 18th to 23rd, right? And let's say I'm gonna go with my partner, and then I want to do a bunch of things over there. Now, what you're doing is that you're giving certain set of requirements, that this is what my travel will look like. And what TripAdvisor has done is that it takes all the requests that you have given, and it is able to generate a personalized output for you, which takes about 4, 5, or 10 seconds to come out. But luckily, this is not my demo, so I can rely on them to show up every single time. I don't show my own demos because my demos get screwed up every single time. But what you see over here is a very appealing, I mean, in my opinion, a very appealing UX, where they have stitched together an entire story for you. They have given you hotels where you can stay at. They've given you recommendations on what you can do from day one all through the end of the time that you're there, maybe day 3 or day 4. So they've given you a lot of information. And while this is not entirely amazing for you, you can start with this. So let's say you're going to a city that you've never been. You have a reference point. And while some of you might say, oh, it's going to take me no time to do it, I dare you to come up with something like this within the next 1 minute. It will take you more than a minute. So this is a business problem that is being solved. My customer takes too long to come up with a great itinerary. In order to help them generate an itinerary which is customized and personalized to their needs, we are going to build a product that's going to take in their preferences, which we call as complex search. We're going to take multiple so I am going to London with my partner for 5 days. I want to do X, Y, and Z categories, or I want to have these many things to do. And what they did for you is that they created a UX for you to put it all together. So you see, what they have done is they have interacted in 3 ways. They've interacted with you in the UX form. The business team identified a business problem to solve, like a customer problem. And then the technology team stitched together something for you. Now, I'm not going to say this is perfect, but imagine if you are spending time over here. You're not searching at Expedia now. You're not searching at hotels.com. You're not searching anywhere else. You would want to stay over here or use them as a reference. And the more time you spend at a website, the more they are able to get you hooked. So even though you don't book anything from there, there is a likelihood that you might start trusting their ability to give you recommendations which are personalized and catered for you. This is how large language models are able to process information about you. So they took a complex query, which you didn't even say. You just clicked on visual stuff. You clicked almost like on filters, and it was able to generate a personalized output for you. And this is what the future is in terms of architectures, that you're going to see more and more personalized things. You can put on slideshow now. You're going to put on more and more personalized architectures out there. I call this the micro RAG architecture. Now, who all knows RAG architectures? 1, 2, 3. So I'm going to repeat what RAG is. So when you use ChatGPT, you say, tell me 5 great hotels or 5 great restaurants in London. It will always generate an output for you, but it could also hallucinate, right? Because it might just generate something that may not exist. And we all have seen hallucination happening in ChatGPT. Now, the second way of getting things is that you go to google.com and you tell Google, give me 5 best restaurants, and then what you get is 1 million links. So if I go to my friend, or Sirish, or you live in Raleigh, right? If I ask you what are the 3 best restaurants in Raleigh, you would have an answer for me. This is restaurant number 1. This is restaurant number 2. This is restaurant number 3. He's not going to give me 20 books to read. This is the experience that we have been dealing with Google right now. When you go to Google, you don't get a direct answer in most cases. You get ads, lots of them, and then you get a million links that relate to and then it's your job to fish through what is most relevant. RAG sort of reduces that gap, and one of the companies that have done really well with this is perplexity.com. Some of you might have heard of perplexity.ai. So what they have done is they take the links that come to you, like the returned documents that you might see in Google. The AI bot reads it for you, and it's able to generate an answer. Can you open the example for Perplexity? Thank you. So, and I think it would be so if you say five top restaurants in London. I keep saying London because I'm going to London in May. If anyone's been there, please let me know. I would really like any recommendation. So what it did for you is that it read through the sources, and instead of returning you the sources only, it generated an output for you, which you can take an action on. You say, okay, these are 5 recommended things. This is the new architecture that is coming up. It's called retrieval augmented generation. where instead, again, looking at chat GPT outputs, you look at an output which is real, it is not hallucinated, and it has references associated with it, right? Retrieval augmented generation, RAG. So if you just search RAG LLM, you will get 1.5 million links and nothing that says about it, right? So I mean, honestly, like, we have been living in this delusion that yes, Google is great. I mean, Mustafa is from Google, I'm from Google, we have tons of friends who've worked at Google. But isn't it weird that we have accepted the fact that we're going to get links and we're going to spend an eternity going through those links? Isn't it easy to actually get an answer? Of course, it will have to learn on how good the answers will be for you, but you have to get to a point where you actually are like, okay, these answers look good to me. Go ahead. Can you slide? All right. So, how do those things change for you for people who are product managers? How many product managers do we have here? So, we have a few. How many engineers? All right. What is everybody else? I mean, as a founder, also you have to be something. So, I mean, and I'm so. So let's say you are, you will categorize you as a UX person, as a business person, as a technology person, right? So if you go there, um, I mean, the clarity is not good at all. But you have UX, you have tech, and you have business. And I think the next slide would do you a little bit. So I know this is a heavy slide, but let's start with the one on the left. There are three stages that I feel like should be defined of where you are in your journey about AI. You start with being AI aware, that okay, something called AI exists. Then you go to AI enabler, and then you go to AI expert. And there's a new term that I've coined that's called AI confused. And more people are AI confused, which is synonymous to I know all about AI. I was born on AI. I made the AI. Another great example, a joke we use in Google is you can't spell Sundar Pichai without saying AI. Right. So AI confused is this new term that is coming up more often, because what people do is that they just believe that they know AI, and there's a lot of onus on the technical team to build things. So your technical team will build things for you if you tell them what your business goals is. So every single time when your executives are sitting down and thinking, oh, we want to do AI, what do you want? What do you mean you want to do AI? What does that mean? So you have to start with the business goal. And for business goals, you have to understand what AI does for you. And I'll just, the example of TripAdvisor was one example. And I'll show you two more examples of companies that are currently working on some spaces. But you start with the business goals, then you go into data sourcing, excuse me, and then you go into the ML side of things. So having right business goals is extremely important. Having the right data is the next important thing, and then understanding what you want to do with the ML technology is even more important. You look very confused. I don't know if I'm being no, the person behind you. Anyways, there's this person in the crowd who looks very confused. I'm sorry if I'm being confusing, but the idea is we have been starting, or we spend a lot of time being ML folks, like, oh, this is an ML person, they're going to do something great. As founders, the most important thing for you is that, let's say you're a founder and you aspire to be a founder. Your best strength is what do you want out of the people you want to work with. And that comes on defining what you want from A to B to C to D. And that is the first part, which is your business goal, then goes to your data sourcing, and then you goes to ML, the machine learning part of how you become and how do you set up an architecture. Okay, can we go to the next slide? All right. Now, this is a heavy slide, and I'm going to try to explain some of the applications that we're going to see from this. Now, the future, or the new feature, which is, I think, almost here, is the architectures of future LLM products that use large language model in some way or the other will always start with an open source foundation model. So some of you might have heard the name Llama. Yes? No? Yes. So a few people have heard the name Llama. Some of you have heard the name Mistral, Mistral 7B, and then the mixture models, and so on and so forth. We are very quickly getting to a world where we will have open source models that we will download in our own architecture. So a lot of companies are concerned about data right now. So what happens to my data when it goes to OpenAI? What happens to my data when when I try to use it? That's the power that's going to happen over here, that you get the open source foundation model and you host the entire architecture in your system. Now this is a very technically strong thing. There's a whole architecture that I'm showing you, but what I'm going to do is i'll say I'll tell you what is the outcome of this: hyper personalization. Now let's say yes, that's great. So let's say you go to a website, and I don't know what's happening, sorry. Let's say you go to a website, and the website has the same dress in multiple sizes. Now let's say you show this as the model, but the person who wants to buy looks more on the person on the left. What if a machine is able to identify who you are, or know who you are based on your shopping pattern, and when you land on that page it shows you someone who looks familiar to you, so you basically are personalizing the entire experience of the website based on the text you see, based on the reviews you see, and based on the pictures you see. That is the power of large language models, that they will hyper personalize things for you in a way. And this is a real company. Bulls AI is an actual company that is here in the Bay Area and is raising money so that they can build, and that's an actual person's email address. You should reach out to them if you like this product. But they are building this solution right now. Imagine you go to Amazon or you go to a website, and it completely changes based on who you. Let's say you are a mother and you want to or let's say you have family, and you want to go to a hotel, and you want to see things that are relevant to you about that hotel, which refers to being a family. We have connecting rooms. They show pool pictures where there's a kids pool also. They have reviews which talk about we went with our family. There's no lie over here. We're just rearranging the data. We're rearranging the data where you only see the data which is the most relevant to you. And that is the power of hyper personalization, which we have today. This can be implemented today. Like if you run an e-commerce company, you can implement this today. The second example I have is virtual try-on, and this is again a startup that I work with. They're called Vector, and what they do is, imagine you go to shop online, and it is able to show you how you will look like just by clicking. Like let's say you say, okay, if you take a selfie, we will be able to generate images of how it will look on you. So you can know what the size will look like. You will know that does it match your skin tone, does it match based on your height, does it match based on your body structure. So, and it's not very difficult, because this technology is 1 year old now. It's actually not even new. It has existed for a little while now, but the adoption of these things will make it so user friendly for you, is that you almost will never think of seeing models on a page. You will always see yourself. I mean, I don't know how much you like to see yourself, but that's a different conversation. But let's say you decide to see, okay, I shop at Gap, or I shop at Gucci, or I shop at this really nice, I don't know how many expensive brands there are. There are many, but let's say you really like shopping over there. You take 6 pictures of yourself, and over time, it's able to generate images and send you a newsletter. Like in your mail, you get, oh, this is me. This is how I would look wearing that coat. I know it's a lot of invasion of privacy, and there's a whole ram of things that are going to happen in that space. But just imagine for a minute the power of that thing. You don't have to imagine. Like, the one thing I have to do is that I have a weird body shape. I have to order a medium and a large and an extra large. And sometimes an extra large is smaller than a medium for some brands, which is very weird, right? But and I also don't know how it will look on me. But with these things, you can relate more and more, and you can build these products. So just to recap a few things. Large language models are here. They're here to stay. The RAG architecture, the retrieval augmented generation, is what's going to make your life easier by cutting down the time you spend on searching for something. Co-pilots are a part of that, and that will sort of take center stage in doing that for you. And then these models, since they're able to understand your complex search history and understand who you are, they will be able to generate things that are extremely similar to you and that matches you so much that you'll be like, okay, you know what, I don't really care of anything else. I just want to go to this website. Now you might be thinking, oh, this is not possible. But what if it has already happened? How many of you actually own a Netflix account, like not taking off someone else? Like this is you're the leftmost person in that account. So usually what happens is when you give someone, a younger brother or a younger sibling or someone, your Netflix account, you always say, do not use my account, make a new one. Because your timeline or that feed of Netflix is so sacred to you that if they watch this show called Dubai Housewives or something like that, like a random trash show, I don't know if it's trash, but no, but they watch a random show and it changes your entire algorithm. And you're so angry. You're like, I told you not to watch this random shows. Now my entire recommendation system is messed up because you hold it so personal to you. Similarly, your news feed, your Facebook news feed, your Instagram news feed. My Instagram news feed has three things: travel, food, and cats. I have cats. So, and that's all there is. And you know what? My wife, she also sees the same things now because we live in the same household. We share an IP. Now she's sending me the same Instagram reels that I sent her a day ago. And that's also a thing for married couples. They just send each other reels. They don't talk really. But the power of these things is that the personalization has hit us already. We just don't know it yet. And it also leads to one more thing: the divide, the blue versus red. This personalization happening over there. If whoever is red sees red related news, whoever's blue sees the. In fact, New York Times publishes different headlines for the same news in different states of US. So the LLM will just bring them down to the level of individual you. Like what I will see will be very different from what he will see, or what any one of you will see. The large language models can do that, and they're doing really, really well. So what it all sums up to: search is no longer the output, the final output. Like you used to say five great hotels in Google, sorry, five great hotels in London, and Google search will give you a million links. That used to be a product output. Search is now an intermediary product, which means that there will be a system that will read the search results for you and generate a comprehensive answer for you, powered through the LLMs. I think that is it. Thank you so much for your time. Happy to take any questions. Any questions? Go ahead.
The complexity one and TripAdvisor together. There's something in there that I've been trying to do every time somebody comes up with a new model, which is like the complexity answer is probably unhelpful in that you asked it to tell you what the top 5 restaurants are in London, and you're going to be there for a week in 2 weeks' time. 4 of those 5 restaurants you won't be able to make a reservation at because you have to book them a month in advance. So it missed that part of it. Or when you created that itinerary of things to do on each days, it didn't go in and look at how long should you spend in each of those? What's the recommendation for number of hours? When are they actually open? Which can you fit together on the same day? One of my standard tests to try some of these things out is, okay, pick a town: Napa, Sonoma, 5 wineries downtown. Give me an itinerary to visit 5 of them in one day, based on their opening hours, based on the reservations, and the fact that they actually have reservation slots open to book at those 5 times. And nothing's close to that. That seems like there seems to be 2 or 3 steps beyond where we are. How long is that going to take us to get through that next 2 or 3 steps?
I think that's the power of co-pilots, and that's has to be manufactured. That has to be hand designed. That cannot be automated. That can be automated once you've designed a copilot to do with that user story. And that is something that we have found as a very important step with our customers. So let's say we work with a customer who's like, oh, I know that I need to make a booking for this particular medical appointment. Can you find me the right doctors, and can you find me if they have the bookings available? That is happening as a requirement right now, and companies are working on it. It's not scalable yet because it has to be manufactured individual copilot use cases. But it is happening. It's happening very slowly, but that's the first thing. Because the thing about AI and VC scalability is how quickly can you scale this? So Perplexity went and scaled the next best thing, which is take all the outputs, put them into a RAG architecture, and then come up with answers. Because the other thing cannot be scaled that fast. But rest assured, that is something that we are constantly getting talked about and asked that can you do the next best thing? And yes, it is in the box. And if you want to, you can just give us a call. We
Hey, thank you for this. So going back to the meme that you had up there on the far right, it's the idea of, is this really an LLM AI that's being built, or is it on top of GPT or Llama or whatnot? I guess just a little bit thinking out into the next few years here, do you think the huge LLMs like GPT are going to dominate that space to the point where if you don't have $200 million to build a massive server farm, you're going to be out of that game? Or do you think there's a lot of opportunity for people to build ground up their own LLM and not just use an API?
So I think the question has been answered in a way that Mistral has come up, right? 7 billion. And now we are looking at something, a concept called SML, small or SLMs, small language models. If you take the same like a small language model and fine tune it to a particular task, it will perform good enough to that degree that you need. So I don't think, like, let the GPTs and OpenAIs and Googles of the world build their own architecture. Open source infrastructure, and that's what I started with. Open source infrastructure has reached a level where you can launch your own product based on that, and we are doing that. We feel like if our customers, most important thing is my data should not leave my architecture. Like any large language, any ML system design that we have built, we never paid for a model. We only paid for infra, right? So smaller the model, like a small 1 billion parameter model, fine tune it to your task, and it will start performing really well.
You think that sort of performance will continue into the future?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. And because compute will also get cheaper over time.
Okay.
Any other questions? Going once. Go ahead.
Okay, Mike. So you say you pretty much take your technology, you pretty much white label any industry with the data from behind the scenes?
To a VC, yes. To you, no. Yes, we can absolutely do it. No, I think, you see, when you go to any industry, let's say any industry, what differentiates you and your ability to do it is your knowledge about that industry. I don't have any knowledge about life sciences, let's say. I don't have any information about, like, but I also did not know healthcare. But we started working with healthcare, and over time we have learned. So the idea is, can we multiply? Yes, with enough knowledge, with subject matter experts coming from to us. The industry that Shirish company, the company he works in, they're a completely different field. I've never worked in that. But we had subject matter experts who sat down with us and told us, see, you have to listen to the customer on what kind of house they want. You're the builder. You can build 5 homes. Yes, I will build 5 homes. But we want to go be in the gourmet homes architecture where you say, oh, you know what? I want this light to come in from all sides. And it's like, okay, I can absolutely do it. You just have to tell me, what do you want and how do you want it? Right? Any other questions? Go ahead.
Who are your main customers? Who are your main customers? Is it small, like founders, startups, or is it larger?
So we divide ourselves into half, like the API infrastructure that we have founders and startups working on them. But for our full stack products. We have customers like mid-size 500 people size companies. We are talking to fintechs, we're talking to healthcare companies. So those are medium, I would say 500 to 1000 size companies. Awesome. Thank you, everyone. Oh, and we are also hosting the hackathon. So if you have questions about the hackathon, we are here to help answer. Thank you.